DeLee to Diana Spencer, Princess of Wales. Diana Spencer's childhood, though aristocratic and privileged, was marked by significant upheaval and emotional difficulties. Born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1, 1961, at Park House near Sandringham, Norfolk. Her parents were Edward John Spencer, Viscount Althorp, who later became the 8th Earl Spencer, and Frances Ruth Burke Roche, later known as the Honourable Mrs. Shand Kidd. She had two older sisters, Lady Sarah and Lady Jane, and a younger brother, Charles. An infant brother, John, died shortly after birth before Diana was born. Her family had close ties to the royal family. Her grandmothers were ladies-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. She spent her early years at Park House, a property rented by her parents on the Queen's Sandringham estate. She even played with Prince Andrew and Prince Edward as a child. Parental divorce and its impact. Diana's parents separated when she was 6 years old and divorced in 1969. Her father gained custody of the children, which was unusual at the time. He allegedly received support from Diana's maternal grandmother during the custody battle. The divorce and the subsequent custody dispute were deeply traumatic for Diana, leaving her feeling insecure and unloved. She remembered her mother's departure as a particularly painful moment. Her relationship with her mother later in life was reportedly strained, especially after Diana's separation from Prince Charles. Education and interests. She was initially homeschooled. She attended Riddlesworth Hall School and then West Heath School. She was not a strong academic student, failing her O-levels twice, but showed talent in music as a pianist, swimming, and dance. She also had a strong interest in children and community service, even earning an award for helping others at West Heath. After leaving West Heath at 16, she attended a finishing school in Switzerland for a short time. Upon returning to England, she worked as a kindergarten assistant in London. Becoming Lady Diana. Diana became Lady Diana Spencer in 1975 when her father inherited the title of Earl Spencer. This also meant the family moved from Park House to Althorp, the ancestral Spencer estate. Her father remarried in 1976 to Rain, Countess of Dartmouth. Diana initially disliked her stepmother, even referring to her as Acid Rain, but their relationship improved later in life. Diana's childhood, shaped by privilege, a fractured family life, and her developing interests, laid the groundwork for the compassionate and independent woman she would become. The Spencer family's coat of arms, from which Diana's was derived, is described in heraldry as silver or white and red, in the second and third quarters gold, overall on black, 3 scallop shells of the first. Diana's personal coat of arms. Prior to her marriage to Prince Charles, Diana bore the Spencer family arms on a lozenge-shaped shield, a form traditionally used by unmarried women. After her marriage, Diana's coat of arms quartered that of her husband, Prince Charles, meaning their arms were combined on a single shield. The left side featured a version of Prince Charles's arms, while the right side displayed a version of Diana's family arms. Following her divorce from Prince Charles, Diana's coat of arms reverted to the simpler design representing her family's heritage, but on a diamond-shaped shield. The crest of the Spencer family is a griffin's head, silver or white, gorged with red between 2 wings expanded of the second. The supporters, or figures on either side of the shield, are a griffin profess ermine and erminois on the right side, and a wyvern erect on its tail ermine on the left side. The family motto is Dieu défend le droit. Translated from French to English, God defends the right. The Spencer tiara was Diana's personal family tiara, which she chose to wear for her wedding to Prince Charles in 1981. The tiara features an intricate garland design with heart-shaped motifs, looped scrolls, and trumpet-shaped flowers, set with diamonds in silver and gold. The tiara was crafted in 1937 for Diana's grandmother, Cynthia, Countess Spencer. Its creation incorporated elements from other family jewels, some dating back to the 18th century. It was a tradition for Spencer family brides to wear the tiara. Both of Diana's sisters wore it for their weddings before she did. As a private family heirloom, the Spencer tiara was never part of the British royal collection. It was returned to the Spencer family after Diana's death in 1997. The tiara is now under the care of her brother, Charles, the 9th Earl Spencer. Some reports suggest it will be inherited by Princess Charlotte in the future. When Kathleen Arlene DeLee was born in 1950 in St. Francisville, Louisiana, her father, Augustus, was 26, and her mother, Lily, was 21. She had one daughter, then married Glenn F. Zumbro, and they have 2 children together. She has 1 brother and 2 sisters. St. Francisville, like many small towns in the Deep South during the 1950s, was characterized by a unique blend of historical charm, agricultural reliance, and the stark reality of racial segregation. Here's a look into life there during that era. West Feliciana Parish, where St. Francisville is located, was primarily a farming parish. The economy revolved heavily around agriculture, with cotton and other crops being central to the livelihood of many residents. For many, particularly the black population, economic opportunities were severely limited, often tied to the land-owning system or to jobs like working in sawmills. A Facebook post suggests that some people experienced a system that resembled reformed slavery, with little chance for upward mobility despite their labor. St. Francisville had a variety of businesses serving the community. Jewish residents, for instance, operated dry goods stores, grocery stores, and even a popular bar along the Mississippi River, attracting steamboat passengers. St. Francisville was subject to the same Jim Crow laws that enforced racial segregation throughout the South. Black residents faced limitations in access to public spaces and businesses, notes Louisiana Folklife. One individual recalls having to enter businesses through the back door and using a segregated movie house. The fight for voting rights was a significant part of the burgeoning civil rights movement in St. Francisville. According to Louisiana Folklife, activists held meetings in local churches to organize voter registration drives. Black residents faced obstacles, including difficult voter registration tests and the risk of arrest for attempting to register. Despite the risks, individuals like George Norflin went daily to the parish courthouse seeking the right to vote, and Mimi Feingold gave speeches in local churches to inspire the community. Some residents secretly provided food for activists, demonstrating their support despite the danger. Baptism was an important rite of passage, often taking place in nearby ponds or creeks, particularly in African American communities. Church services were central to social life, including rituals like the right hand of fellowship symbolizing acceptance into the congregation. Many residents remained devoted to their churches throughout their lives, serving as deacons, deaconesses, or choir members. One could visit historic plantations like Rosedown, undergoing restoration in the mid-1950s. The Myrtles Plantation, now known as one of the top 10 haunted places in the U.S., operated as an inn in the 1950s, according to the Myrtles website. Souvenir brochures from this era show that plantations were tourist attractions, advertising a restful place that recaptures the charm and atmosphere of the Old South. Life in St. Francisville during the 1950s was characterized by a rich historical backdrop, strong community ties, and a deeply embedded system of segregation that was beginning to be challenged by the emerging civil rights movement. When Augustus William DeLee was born in 1924 in Louisiana, his father, Augustus, was 39 and his mother, Lily, was 30. He married Lily Catherine A. Bear DeLee and they had 1 son and 3 daughters together. He died on July 6, 2011, in his hometown at the age of 87, and was buried in East Feliciana, Louisiana. In 1924, St. Francisville was a small town in West Feliciana Parish, still reflecting the legacy of its plantation past while navigating the changes of the early 20th century. Here's a summary of life in St. Francisville during that year. The local economy was still heavily tied to agriculture, particularly cotton production. The nearby river port of Bayou Sara, once a major hub for cotton, was in decline due to flooding and fires. In fact, some structures were even being moved from Bayou Sara to St. Francisville during the 1920s. The local newspaper, the St. Francisville Democrat, would have documented community events. While the most devastating flood occurred in 1927, it is likely that the residents of St. Francisville were already grappling with the issue of flood protection and managing the periodic high waters of the Mississippi River in 1924. The flood of 1927 caused widespread devastation, forcing displacement and migration. Overall, St. Francisville in 1924 was a community balancing its history with the challenges of the present, including economic dependence on agriculture, racial segregation, and the rising political aspirations of figures like Huey Long. When Augustus William Gus DeLee was born on August 28, 1885, in Clinton, Louisiana, his father, Joel, was 34 and his mother, Ellen, was 27. He had one son with Lola Cornelia Jones. He then married Lily Pearl Covington and they had 17 children together. He died on July 23, 1968, in Wilson, Louisiana, at the age of 82, and was buried in East Feliciana, Louisiana. The picture on the screen is Gus's obituary. In 1924, St. Francisville was a small town in West Feliciana Parish, still reflecting the legacy of its plantation past while navigating the changes of the early 20th century. Here's a summary of life in St. Francisville during that year. The local economy was still heavily tied to agriculture, particularly cotton production. The nearby river port of Bayou Sara, once a major hub for cotton, was in decline due to flooding and fires. In fact, some structures were even being moved from Bayou Sara to St. Francisville during the 1920s. 1924 was the year Huey Long launched his first campaign for governor of Louisiana, running on a platform that included promises of free textbooks, modern roads, and toll-free bridges. While Long did not win the election, his campaigning style and populist message resonated with many voters, especially in rural areas. His campaign highlighted the dissatisfaction with the existing political establishment, and laid the foundation for his future political success. While the most devastating flood occurred in 1927, it is likely that the residents of St. Francisville were already grappling with the issue of flood protection and managing the periodic high waters of the Mississippi River in 1924. The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 caused widespread devastation, forcing displacement and migration. Despite the hardships, communities in St. Francisville, as in other areas of Louisiana, found ways to come together through church activities and social events. When Joel Spencer DeLee was born on February 12, 1851, in East Feliciana, Louisiana, his father, Augustus, was 30, and his mother, Elizabeth, was 20. He married Ellen Adelia Nettles and they had several children together. He also had one son and 4 daughters from another relationship. He died on July 5, 1942, in his hometown at the age of 91, and was buried there. East Feliciana Parish in 1851 was a deeply Southern, antebellum community with an economy and social structure heavily reliant on agriculture and the institution of slavery. East Feliciana Parish in 1851 was a rural, agricultural community deeply intertwined with the institution of slavery. Life would have been structured around the rhythms of the plantation system, with the laws and politics of the era reflecting and reinforcing this social order. Elizabeth Hannah Spencer. Third great-grandmother. Elizabeth Hannah Spencer was born on September 6, 1830, in Clinton, Louisiana. Her father, Andrew, was 35, and her mother, Mary, was 31. She married Augustus William DeLee and they had 4 children together. She also had one son from another relationship. She died on June 8, 1906, in her hometown, having lived a long life of 75 years, and was buried in East Feliciana, Louisiana. Elizabeth is our genetic connection to Princess Diana Spencer. Clinton, Louisiana, in 1830 was a small but growing town serving as the parish seat of the newly formed East Feliciana Parish. Located on high ground near Pretty Creek, it was a central point for the surrounding agricultural community. It was a community built on cotton and enslaved labor. The Chase Mansion, demolished in 1960, was built around this time in Clinton. Additionally, the Isaac Wall Senior House, built in the late 1830s by a Methodist minister, serves as an example of buildings constructed during this period. When Andrew Joel Spencer was born in 1795 in South Carolina, his father, Shepherd, was 25 and his mother, Hannah, was 23. He married Mary Ann Boatner on February 17, 1819, in Amite, Mississippi. They had one child during their marriage. He died in 1868 in Brazoria, Texas, at the age of 73. In 1795, South Carolina was a young state deeply shaped by its colonial past, with a developing economy, a prominent role in national politics, and a society grappling with the contradictions of slavery and the ideals of the new republic. South Carolina's economy was primarily agricultural, focused on cash crops such as indigo, rice, and Sea Island cotton. Slavery was fundamental to this economy, with enslaved Africans forming a majority of the population, particularly in the coastal areas. This system generated significant wealth for the elite planters, who formed a powerful aristocracy in Charleston and the surrounding areas. South Carolina society was structured hierarchically, reflecting both English customs and the wealth derived from property and enslaved labor. In 1795, South Carolina's John Rutledge, nominated to be Chief Justice of the United States, vehemently denounced the Jay Treaty. This controversial treaty sought to improve relations with Great Britain, a move viewed with suspicion by some, particularly those who feared its potential impact on American independence and Republican ideals. Rutledge's strong public opposition ultimately led to the Senate rejecting his nomination. While Federalists initially held sway in South Carolina, Federalist power was declining due to factors like party divisions, the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798, and the Compromise of 1808. Mount Bethel, the first Methodist academy, was established near Newberry, South Carolina, in 1795, according to the South Carolina Encyclopedia. Beaufort College was chartered in South Carolina in 1795, according to Cambridge University Press and Assessment. South Carolina's religious landscape was dominated by an authoritative and aristocratic Protestant order that was largely intolerant of non-Christian religions and, to a lesser degree, Roman Catholicism. In summary, South Carolina in 1795 was a vibrant but complex society grappling with its identity as a young state. Its economy flourished on the back of enslaved labor, contributing to the wealth and influence of its planter elite. The state also played a role in national political debates, as exemplified by the controversy surrounding the Jay Treaty. Educational and religious institutions were also developing, but within the context of a society that was still navigating the tensions between its ideals and the realities of its social structure. When Shepard Spencer was born in 1770 in Edgefield, South Carolina, his father, Jesse, was 30 and his mother, Mary, was 20. He had children with Hannah Preanel between 1793 and 1811. He died on October 29, 1853, in Octobeha, Mississippi, having lived a long life of 83 years, and was buried in Panola, Alabama. When Jesse Spencer was born in 1740 in Westmoreland, Virginia, his father, Nicholas, was 55 and his mother, Rachel, was 45. He married Mary Spencer on March 1, 1821. They had 3 children during their marriage. He died in 1826 in Alabama, having lived a long life of 86 years. When Nicholas Spencer was born in 1685 in Coppell, Virginia, his father was 52 and his mother, Frances, was 45. He was married 3 times and had 3 children. He died on April 16, 1759, in Westmoreland, Virginia, at the age of 74, and was buried in St. Lawrence, Kent, England. When Lady Mary Gostwick, Lady of Armiger, was born on July 26, 1612, in Willington, Bedfordshire, England, her father was 25 and her mother was 23. She married Nicholas William Spencer and they had several children together. She also had 1 child with John Spencer. She died on December 21, 1694, in Coppell, Bedfordshire, England, having lived a long life of 82 years, and was buried there. When Sir Baronet William Gostwick was born on December 2, 1565, in Willington, Bedfordshire, England, his father, John, was 26 and his mother, Elizabeth, was 39. He married Jane Owen and they had several children. He died on September 19, 1615, in his hometown at the age of 49, and was buried there. When Sir Edward Gostwick was born in December 1586 in Willington, Bedfordshire, England, his father, William, was 21 and his mother, Jane, was 16. He had 1 daughter in 1612. He died on September 20, 1630, in Gosfield, Essex, England, at the age of 43, and was buried in his hometown. Mary Gostwick Armiger was born on July 26, 1612, in Willington, Bedfordshire, England, the daughter of Sir Edward Gostwick, 2nd Baronet, and Lady Anne Wentworth. Her baptism occurred on December 26, 1612, at Norton, Hertfordshire. She married Nicholas Spencer II on January 20, 1629, in Ravensden, Bedfordshire. With Nicholas Spencer, Mary had several children, including William Spencer, Colonel Nicholas Spencer Jr., Francis Spencer, and John Spencer. After Nicholas's death in 1643, she later married Sir Clement Armiger, Knight of Copel. She died on December 21, 1694, in Copel, Bedfordshire, England, having lived a long life of 82 years, and was buried at All Saints' Church in Copel. Nicholas Spencer was baptised on November 15, 1611, at Copel in Bedfordshire, England. He was the son of Nicholas Spencer of Copel, Esq, and Mary Elms. Nicholas Spencer was born on November 15, 1611, in Copel, Bedfordshire, England, the son of Ewan and Nicholas. He had one son and one daughter with Mary Castwick. He died as a young father in March 1644 in Willington, Bedfordshire, England, at the age of 32. When Nicholas Spencer was born on March 28, 1573, in Copel, Bedfordshire, England, his father, Robert, was 46 and his mother was 17. He married Mary Spencer and they had children together. He died in January 1626 in his hometown at the age of 52, and was buried there. Nicholas and Mary Spencer had several children who carried on the family line in both England and the American colonies, including Nicholas Spencer Jr. who married Mary Gostwick and had a son, Colonel Nicholas Spencer III, who became a prominent politician in colonial Virginia. When Lady Maccabea Childeris Cockayne of Cockayne-Hatley was born in 1556 in Bedfordshire, England, her father, Chad, was 36, and her mother, Elizabeth, was 48. She had 15 children with Robert Spencer of Copel, 1st Baron of Wormleyden. She then married Edmunda Spencer on October 27, 1579. She died on June 1, 1629, in Copel, Bedfordshire, England, at the age of 73, and was buried there. The village was home to Cockayne-Hatley Hall, also known as Cockayne-Hatley Manor, which was originally established by the Cockayne family in the 15th century. The Cockayne family had been lords of the manor since the early 1400s. In 1556, Chad Cockayne was the head of the family, having succeeded his father William in 1527. Chad was the father of John Cockayne, who would hold the manor in 1595. Tudor society in England was highly stratified, with a clear hierarchy from the monarch down to the poor. The Cockayne family, as landowners, would have been part of the gentry or nobility. Cockayne-Hatley in 1556 was a village centred around its manor and the long-established Cockayne family, who were major landowners. Robert Spencer, Baron of Wormleyden, was born in 1570 in Wormleyden, Warwickshire, England. His father, John, was 24 and his mother was 14. He married Margaret Spencer and they had children together. He died on October 25, 1627, in his hometown at the age of 57, and was buried in Copel, Bedfordshire, England. Wormleyden was a primary seat of the Spencer family during the 16th and 17th centuries, alongside their other manor at Althorpe. Their wealth was built on wool production. The impressive Wormleyden Manor House, a fine example of Tudor-style architecture, was the Spencer family residence at this time. It had been built and owned by the Spencers. The family's wealth originated with Sir John Spencer, who purchased Wormleyden in 1506 and Althorpe 2 years later. When William Dunford Guilhelme Spencer was born in 1591 in Althorpe, Northamptonshire, England, his father, Robert, was 21 and his mother, Marguerite, was 20. William Spencer was later the 2nd Baron Spencer of Wormleyden. He had one daughter with Penelope Lady of Southampton Wriothesley Baroness Spencer. He then married Anne Allen on June 29, 1628, in Mansfield, Nottinghamshire, England. He then married Penelope Spencer and they had 13 children together. He died on December 19, 1636, in Brington, Huntingdonshire, England, at the age of 45. William Spencer himself held the office of Member of Parliament for Brackley in 1614 and later for Northamptonshire in various parliaments. When Henry Spencer, Earl of Sunderland, was born on November 23, 1620, his father, William, was 29 and his mother, Penelope, was 22. He was married 3 times and had 4 sons and 5 daughters. He died as a young father on September 20, 1643, in Newbury, Berkshire, England, at the age of 22. When Robert Spencer, Baron Spencer of Wormleyden, was born in 1570 in Wormleyden, Warwickshire, England, his father, John, was 24 and his mother, Lady, was 14. He married Marguerite Spencer and they had 15 children together. He also had 1 daughter from another relationship. He died on October 25, 1627, in his hometown at the age of 57, and was buried in Copel, Bedfordshire, England. Wormleyden in 1570 was a small but significant location within Warwickshire, England. It was the ancestral home of the influential Spencer family, who were building their wealth through land ownership and the wool trade. Life there reflected the broader social changes of the Elizabethan era, including the rise of the gentry and the lasting impacts of the dissolution of the monasteries. When William Dunford Guilhelme Spencer was born in 1591 in Althorpe, Northamptonshire, England, his father, Robert, was 21 and his mother, Marguerite, was 20. He had at least 1 daughter with Penelope, Lady of Southampton Wriothesley Baroness Spencer. He then married Anne Allen on June 29, 1628, in Mansfield, Nottinghamshire, England. He died on December 19, 1636, in Brington, Huntingdonshire, England, at the age of 45. William Spencer and his wife Penelope Wriothesley moved into Althorpe and were involved in the enlargement of the estate and the establishment of a racecourse in the park. William Spencer held the office of Member of Parliament for Brackley in 1614 and later for Northamptonshire in various parliaments. Although Lord Henry Spencer would not become the Earl of Sunderland until 1643, his activities and responsibilities in 1640 were shaped by the social, economic, and political context of the time, marked by the growing chasm between the king and parliament. When he was born on November 23, 1620, his father, William, was 29 and his mother, Penelope, was 22. He died as a young father on September 20, 1643, in Newbury, Berkshire, England, at the age of 22. When Robert Spencer was born in 1640 in Paris, France, his father, Henry, was 20 and his mother, Lady, was 23. He married Lady Anne Digby, Countess of Sunderland on June 10, 1665, in London, England. They had several children during their marriage. He died in 1702 at the age of 62, and was buried in Northamptonshire, England. Paris in 1640 was a city of contrasts, grandeur and poverty, intellectual vibrancy and political tension, urban growth and social inequality, all set against the backdrop of a nation at war and a monarchy seeking to consolidate its power. When Charles Spencer was born on April 23, 1675, his father, Robert, was 35 and his mother was 29. He married Aubertha Frances Anne Spencer Churchill and they had a number of children together. He died on April 19, 1722, in London, England, at the age of 46. Althorpe in 1675 was a grand estate, reflecting the wealth and influence of the Spencer family during the Restoration period. It was a place where generations of the family lived, managed their lands, and engaged in the social and political life of England. The estate was evolving, with formal gardens and architectural sophistication that was notable for the time. Charles Spencer, Duke of Marlborough and Earl of Sunderland. First cousin 4x removed of husband of first cousin 9x removed. When Charles Spencer, Duke of Marlborough and Earl of Sunderland was born on November 22, 1706, in Ruislip, Middlesex, England, his father, Charles, was 31 and his mother was Aubertha. He married Elizabeth Trevor and they had several children together. He also had one daughter from another relationship. He died on October 20, 1758, in Blenheim, Oxfordshire, England, at the age of 51, and was buried in Woodstock, Oxfordshire, England. Althorpe in 1675 was a grand estate, reflecting the wealth and influence of the Spencer family during the Restoration period. It was a place where generations of the family lived, managed their lands, and engaged in the social and political life of England. The estate was evolving, with formal gardens and architectural sophistication that was notable for the time. When Charles Spencer was born on April 23, 1675, his father, Robert, was 35 and his mother was 29. He married Aubertha Frances Anne Spencer Churchill and they had a number of children together. He died on April 19, 1722, in London, England, at the age of 46. When Lord John Viscount Spencer was born on December 19, 1734, his father, Charles, was 28 and his mother, Elizabeth, was 24. He married Margaret Georgiana Spencer and they had 4 children together. He then married Georgiana Poyntz and they had 5 children together. He died on October 31, 1783, in Bath, Somerset, England, at the age of 48. The pictures on the right of the screen were painted in his younger years. George John Spencer, 2nd Earl Spencer, Viscount Althorpe. First cousin 6x removed of husband of first cousin 9x removed. When George John Spencer, 2nd Earl Spencer, Viscount Althorpe was born on September 1, 1758, in London, London, England, his father, John, was 23 and his mother, Margaret, was 21. He married Lavina Bingham on March 6, 1781. They had a number of children over the years. He died on November 10, 1834, in Althorpe, Northamptonshire, England, having lived a long life of 76 years. Vice Admiral Frederick Seymour Spencer, 4th Earl Spencer. First cousin 7x removed of husband of first cousin 9x removed. When Vice Admiral Frederick Seymour Spencer 4th Earl Spencer was born on April 14, 1798, in London, England, his father, George, was 39 and his mother, Lavina, was 35. He married Elizabeth Georgiana Poyntz and they had children together. He then married Adelaide Horatia Elizabeth Spencer and they had children together. He died on February 27, 1857, in Althorpe, Northamptonshire, England, at the age of 58. The Honourable Charles Robert, Viscount Althorpe Spencer was born on October 30, 1857. His father was 59 and his mother, Elizabeth, was 58. He had several sons and daughters. He died on September 26, 1922, at the age of 64. When Albert Edward John Spencer was born on May 23, 1892, his father, was 34 and his mother, Margaret, was 23. He married Cynthia Eleanor Beatrix Hamilton on January 26, 1919, in London, England. They had 4 children in 11 years. He died on June 9, 1975, in Althorpe, Northamptonshire, England, at the age of 83. Edward John Earl Spencer, Viscount Althorpe, and his twin brother Edmund John were born on January 24, 1924. Their father, Albert, was 31, and their mother, Cynthia, was 26. He married Frances R. B. Roche and they had 4 children together. He then married Rain Spencer and they had 8 children together. He died on March 29, 1992, in London, England, at the age of 68. Born on January 24, 1924, Edward John Spencer was educated at Eton College and the Royal Military College at Sandhurst. He served in World War II, was an equerry to King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II, and held various local government positions. He married Frances Ruth Burke Roche in 1954, and they had 5 children, Lady Sarah, Lady Jane, John, Lady Diana, and Charles. Their divorce in 1969 was highly publicized, with Edward gaining custody of their 4 children. In 1976, he married Rain Legge, Countess of Dartmouth, daughter of novelist Barbara Cartland. Reign cared for him after he suffered a major stroke. Edward became the 8th Earl Spencer in 1975 upon his father's death. Despite a severe stroke in 1978, he walked his daughter Diana down the aisle at her wedding to Prince Charles in 1981. He died of a heart attack on March 29, 1992, at the age of 68. His son, Charles Spencer, became the 9th Earl Spencer. Edward was buried in the family vault at the Church of St. Mary the Virgin. When Diana, Princess of Wales, was born on July 1, 1961, her father, Edward, was 37, and her mother, Reign, was 31. She married Prince Charles Philip Arthur George on July 29, 1981, in London, England. They had 2 children during their marriage. She died on August 31, 1997, in Paris, France, at the age of 36. Princess Diana's accomplishments are primarily remembered for her extensive charitable work and the groundbreaking impact she had on several social and health issues. She leveraged her high-profile position to bring attention to causes often overlooked or stigmatized, earning her the title of the People's Princess. In 1987, Diana made headlines when she intentionally shook hands with an AIDS patient at a London clinic, defying conventional fears about the disease's transmission. She became a prominent ambassador for the cause, visiting hospices and supporting organizations like the National AIDS Trust. She also delivered a speech on women and children with AIDS on behalf of the National AIDS Trust in 1993. Her actions helped to destigmatize the illness and promote understanding and compassion towards those affected. Diana actively campaigned for a ban on the manufacture and use of landmines. She made a highly publicized visit to Angola in 1997, walking through an active minefield, to highlight the devastating impact of these weapons on civilians. She also collaborated with the Halo Trust, an organization dedicated to clearing landmines. Her work on this issue significantly raised global awareness and contributed to the movement for a worldwide ban. As a patron of Centrepoint, a UK charity, Diana advocated on behalf of homeless youth, providing them with housing and support and drawing attention to issues like poverty and mental health among young people. Diana was president of the Hospital for Sick Children, Great Ormond Street, and the Royal Marsden Hospital. She opened the Wolfson Children's Cancer Unit in 1993 and helped raise over $1 million for cancer research during an event. She was a patron of the English National Ballet. She also used her position to raise awareness for other causes, such as domestic violence and leprosy. Diana's willingness to engage directly with people, show empathy, and use her platform for humanitarian causes helped to modernize the image of the British monarchy and make it more accessible to the public. She was seen as someone who connected with ordinary people and gave a voice to the voiceless. Diana's dedication to humanitarian work and her ability to connect with people on a personal level left a lasting legacy. After her death, the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund was established to continue her humanitarian efforts, and the Diana Award was created to inspire young people to create positive change. And that's how the DeLees are genetically related to Diana Spencer, Princess of Wales.